says, did I hear you correctly? Melchizedek wasn't a person, but a title, or did I hear that wrong? Yeah, Melchizedek is the title of a priesthood. So there were 10 Melchizedekian priests. The last one, of course, was Jesus. And since Paul's going to explain this later, that the the Levitical priesthood has a lot of laws to it. So if you're going to be a Levitical priest, a high priest, for instance, your father and mother both have to be a descendant of Zadok, technically. Zadok, which is Aaron and Levi. Um, you have to start practicing at 25. You can't do that before. You start being a real priest at 30 if you can do the job. And there's a mandatory retirement at either 50 or 60. All that's mentioned in Numbers, in the Bible, in the book of Numbers. So Paul makes the comment later that Jesus is our high priest after the order of Melchizedek. And that order has no father or mother, beginning of days, nor end of life. And he makes this a very solid point in chapter 7, because the whole point is, if Jesus was a Levitical priest, whether he's still alive or not, he has to stop being our high priest at the age of 50 or 60, whatever it is. It's the law. And Paul is saying, but this is why he's a Melchizedekian priest. That's one of the things Paul uses to prove to them it's not the same priesthood. It's two different priesthoods, obviously, because he is that. And they only turned it over to someone else when they were getting old and knew they were getting ready to die. So the death is what stopped them from being a priest. Jesus, who's now immortal, or is immortal, he died but resurrected. He's going to remain the final Melchizedekian priest forever. And no need for him to ever turn it over to anyone else. And so Paul is using that argument in chapter 7, showing, do you understand now there's a difference? It's not just a clause or something in the law, but if you're this, you could do that. The law is the law, but this is a different priesthood. And then later on in the other chapters, he's going to show if it's a different priesthood with different laws, it has to be a different covenant. And this is the Jeremiah 31 covenant, which was supposed to come during the age of grace. So he explains all that later. And remember, the reason for writing all this is try to get the temple priests to wake up. You know that you're a priest of the Aaronic order. You know you're here, and Jerusalem is here, and there's a temple because there was a Solomon, because there was a Moses, and because God ordained this stuff and promised Abraham that the Jews would flourish. That's why you're here. He also promised Abraham Messiah would come. Messiah is going to be a priest after the order of Melchizedek, which is not the order, So he's pulling all this together. You got to realize this. You can't be saying Jesus can't be Messiah because he's a priest and he came from David. But the Messiah is the son of David. Well, then that he can't be a priest, but he is a priest. Just to get them to understand that's not our priesthood, then it's something else. Right. So that's what he's going to be doing, just to try to get them to wake up, because they only have about, he wrote this somewhere around 58 AD. The temple's destroyed in 70. Paul would have known by the prophecies the temple is destroyed before the end of the age, which was 75. So they have, at best 20 years to make a decision, and maybe it's going to be a lot sooner than that. It's like me saying at best we got so many years to the rapture, but the rapture could be tomorrow, and even if it's not, you may not wake up in the morning. So don't wait to the last minute. This is coming. You better make a decision. And that's what he's doing. So yes, the Melchizedekian order and the Aaronic and the Levitical order. Levi and Aaron are names of people. Melchizedek is a name, and Paul explains this. It's king priest, or king Zadok, or king righteousness.